Jay here from Stretford, Paddock, and this is a bit of a paper tour, but instead of being in the morning, it's in the afternoon because we are going to the US very soon, so I've got to go and get a train, so we've done it a little bit differently. We're giving you an afternoon update rather than a morning update, but it's all the same stuff. You need to get involved in the chat and the comments and let us know what you think about all the latest Manchester United news. We're going to be talking about this potential fire sale at the club, what is happening with the likes of Jadon Sancho, Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof. Could they all be leaving? According to some reports, United could be set to sell basically everyone who's not first team in the hope of raising some, much needed funds. Make sure as well you are hitting that like button. Tina Telefson Totoka, who's been a member of the academy for 23 months, says get Maguire, Lindelof, Antony and Sancho out and in with the Ligt and promote some youngsters, and then maybe a left back, right back and CDM. Valhoon says hello Jay. Andy G was wondering where you were this morning, Jay. Sorry about that. Jed's dead baby says don't forget your passport. Inos Fushi says hi Jay. K2 says hello Mr. J. The legend. Afternoon Jay says SC Travel Reels. Loads of people in the chat as well. Good to see you all. Yeah, should we get into this then? This fire sale stuff. Because this came about, I think, let me just find it. It was an article in ESPN. So it says here, basically, there you can see it. Man United offering players to fund transfer spree. So Rob Dawson and Julian Lorenz, Manchester United are encouraging offers for a number of senior players to fund further transfer business this summer, a source has told ESPN. United have already made two key signings already, with Joshua Zirkzee and Lenny Yoro. We know all about that. The pair brought in for a combined 88 million have arrived at Old Trafford to replace Anthony Martial and Raphael Varane. But manager Erik ten Hag is also keen to sign a central midfielder, another centre-back and a right-back. And I'm just sort of scrolling down here. It says United will consider offers for Victor Lindelof, Wan Bissaka and Christian Eriksen, who all have 1 year left on their contracts. Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay, Antony and Jadon Sancho would also be available if United's valuations are met. Now, if you look at those players that I've mentioned there, Christian Eriksen, you ain't going to get any money off for him. Right? Pennies, if that. He's 30 odd years old. What is he now, Christian Eriksen? Let's just have a look how old he is. Is he 32? He's 32, yeah, he is. He's 32, he's got 1 year left on his deal. I don't see you getting anything for him. It's just almost like you just basically giving way to get him his wage bill. So just get him off the wage bill if you are going to get rid of him. Victor Lindelof, again, not loads of money. You get more for Victor Lindelof than you would get for Christian Eriksen, but I'm not holding my breath for a massive cash injection to bring in Christian Eriksen. So you're probably looking at around... I don't know, to bring in Victor Lindelof, to get rid of Victor Lindelof, sorry. You're probably looking at around 10, 15 million, if that. I don't know. Get involved in the chat in the comments, let me know what you think. Wan Bissaka is another one. He's only got a year left. He's been sort of mooted as going to West Ham for around 20 million. So, I don't know, maybe you could get that for him. Again, though, 1 year left on his deal. Even that looks like a bit of a stretch. It might be closer to 15. Then you get to Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay, Antony and Jadon Sancho. Harry Maguire, his age is a bit of a factor because he's not young. I think, is he 31? So 31 years old, a very good defender. I think he gets a little bit of undue stick. Could you maybe get 20 million for him? What do you reckon? For a 31-year-old, I was going to say he's an England international. He didn't get in the last squad, but I think if he's playing regularly, would be an England international. I think it was fitness rather than him being completely dropped by Gareth Southgate, which played the part in him not going to the Euros. So I think Harry Maguire, maybe you can get 20, maybe a little bit more for $1 million, but the fact he's 31 would go against him, of course, because he hasn't got many years left at the very top level. He might play to his mid-30s. He might play to his 32, 33. Usually, players nowadays do make to the mid-30s. It's just how big the drop-off would be. You get those players that, the Thiago Silvas of this world who can play into the late 30s. But I think for Harry Maguire, you're probably looking at around 20 million. Let me know what you think. Who else is on that list? Scott McTominay, you think you get some decent money for him? Just scored a load of goals last season. He's done well for Scotland as well, if anyone cares about that. He's a decent, reliable midfielder. Can operate in a number of positions in midfield. I do feel he's more of an attacking midfielder, but he has played a sort of deeper role in the past for Manchester United. If you're looking for someone who's got Premier League experience, capable of getting you a goal, he's highly regarded, and he's a decent age as well, 26 years old, then Scott McTominay ticks a lot of boxes. I think you could probably get 35 million for Scott McTominay. That's what I think. Maybe I'm being ambitious. I think if you look at a lot of players that sort of move around nowadays, you get players that go to clubs. You get attacking midfielders that go to clubs and they've got, they've scored 2 or 3 goals last season and they'll go to clubs for like 30, 40 million. Scott McTominay scored, 9 goals last season? It's a lot of goals from midfield. So I feel like you could get 30 million for Scott McTominay. I feel like he's got a decent reputation as well. He's a sort of solid professional in it, goes about his business. Sorry, he's 27 years old. Forgive me, he's not 26, he's 27 until he's 28. So let me just have a look. And I got everything wrong. I got his goals wrong as well. He scored 10 goals in all competitions last season, 7 Premier League goals in 32 games. So it's a decent return in it for a midfielder, and also he offers you a bit more than just goals. You saw it in the FA Cup final where he did a job on Rodri. It was basically a man-marking job on Rodri. So I think for Scott McTominay, you could maybe get 30 million, maybe a little bit more if you're lucky. Antony, I've said this a lot, and I'll keep saying it. I think you struggle to give him away. Now, people might go, Jay, you're just hating on Antony. Like, I call it as I see it with Antony. He had a decent start to his career. In his his United career. In his first season, there was a couple of highs, wasn't there? There was obviously the goal against Barcelona, the purple patch he had when he came in, put in some good performances, was part of the team that won the Carabao Cup. Nothing wrong with that, and helped us finish 3rd. But then the following season was a bit of a disaster. Other than that goal against Liverpool, I mean, it's almost nothing. I thought it was a goal against Newport as well and a goal against Burnley, and that was it. And some of his performances just weren't good enough. Then you've got this off-the-field issues going on. I don't know what's going on with his case, I think, in Brazil, but there's still a sort of bit of a question mark there. Then you've got his attitude, and I'm always loath to mention players' attitude. I think it's a word that gets bandied around far too often. But you can't ignore the fact that his attitude does seem to stink. His reaction when he got asked to play at fullback for the game against Liverpool, and then again for one of the other games, I think it was the game against Arsenal, where he started whispering to Gabriel Jesus, was abominable. Then you see things like, remember that last season, or season before last, I should say now, at Sellers Park when he went berserk at Bruno, started arguing with Bruno. And listen, I know Bruno can be a bit temperamental. That's the first time I've seen a player proper giving it him over nothing, over a throw-in. I just think he's bad vibes, me, Antony. I just think he just doesn't offer much at all, and has a lot of issues, and I think you struggle to find a club that go, yeah, we'll have him. He's the answer to our problems. Jadon Sancho is slightly different. Had a decent season at Dortmund, going back to Dortmund. Not setting the world alight, but that performance in the semi-final first leg against Paris Saint-Germain was phenomenal. So he might have just, with that performance alone, put himself in a few shop windows. Plus his numbers are all right. He's not one of those where, even though he hasn't exactly been phenomenal since he arrived at Manchester United, overall, he still tends to get you a goal or an assist at least every few games, even when he's not particularly playing that well, or even he's not a regular in the team. Antony doesn't do that. Jadon Sancho's numbers are a lot better than Antony's, and obviously he's a little bit, he's about the same age, sorry. He's 24 years old, so he's still quite young. It might be a loan move, but if Manchester United could sell Jadon Sancho, if you could get a fee for him, then I think it'd be around 35, 40 million. I think that's what the club is. Maybe 40 million is a bit ambitious. But I'm just looking at his numbers here. He's played, so in the Bundesliga, he's played 118 games, 40 goals, 54 assists. I mean, a lot of those would have been at his first time round when he was at Dortmund last time, not the more recent one. If you look in the Premier League, even the Premier League, these numbers aren't terrible. 58 games, 9 goals, 6 assists. I mean, they're not great, but they're all right. In the Champions League, again, it's similar. 35 appearances, 7 goals, 6 assists. So his numbers are around the sort of... I think that last season in Dortmund, where he scored, he had 36 goal involvements in 39 games, has proper bumped his numbers up. But overall, he's a player that gets you a goal involvement sort of between every 2 or 3 games, which... That's not too bad. That's not too shabby. I think obviously Jadon Sancho's got his issues, but nothing like what the issues you have with Antony. So maybe you can get 35, million for him, 40 at a push. Might be a little bit difficult because he had that big fallout of Eric Ten Hag. That might put a few people off. Also, when he went back to Dortmund, he did all right, but it wasn't amazing. Let me know what you think. Give me a shout. Who do you see going for what amount of fees? Out of those players I mentioned, who would you like to see go out the exit door? Or is there someone I've not mentioned or that ESPN hasn't mentioned that you feel like United could sell and could bring in a lot of money? Sergio Lopez says, get De Ligt in this summer and Branthwaite next season. Get a DM in and sort the right wing and right back out next summer. Thomas Dickinson says, morning, Jay, from the Bahamas. Oh, that sounds nice. Toddler Mac says, hello from Florida. Andy Moore says, feel sorry for the kids with Højlund kits with 11 on it. I'm going to get into that in a minute. Is that Højlund taking the number 9, is it, after he was 11 last season? Yeah, a few people are talking about that. Cameron Curran says, need of advice what to do. Went down Manchester for a break, bought Højlund 11 shirt, now he's 9, crying emoji. Yep. I've been there myself in the past with the wrong numbers on shirts. It's a nightmare. Pranav Agarwal says, Bruno Fernandes going? No, I think there was talk of him maybe going to Paris Saint-Germain, but I think that was just rumours, just pure paper talk. It doesn't look like it's happening. Just on the Jadon Sancho front as well. Seems, I was just spending about 5 minutes talking about what we could get for him. Seems United are asking for 40 million for him. There's an article in the Mirror where you can see Man United named their prices for Jadon Sancho despite clearing the air of Eric Ten Hag. I said this the other day on a podcast, Dave McDonald there with a story. I don't think Eric Ten Hag wants to keep Jadon Sancho. I don't think Jadon Sancho particularly wants to stay at Manchester United. I think this is a little bit like, you know what, let's call it truce because it's convenient. But I don't see it, to be honest with you. I just don't see it being a situation where he stays. I think that it's one of those where you'll go, look, get back in the team, get back in the squad, let's bury the hatchet, and hopefully, you know, you can move on. I think that's what's going to happen. I'd be surprised if he ends up staying at Manchester United this season. I think the only way that happens is if no one comes in for him. But yeah, I think he's down the pecking order. I know he's played the other day, but I think we've got other better options, I'll be honest with you. I think we've got better options than Jadon Sancho, and I think he's one of the few players you've got there. United are willing to pay up to, only if someone's willing to pay up to 40 million. I think he's one of the few players you could sell who could fetch around that fee. Let's talk about Old Trafford. The task force to regenerate Old Trafford and the surrounding area have held a second meeting. So yeah, there's talking there of not just the stadium getting done, but around the Old Trafford area getting done up as well. And there's this task force, you can see it there in the evening news. They had a meeting, I think was it in April. 14 members there, I think Must and Andy Burnham and a few others have been involved in it. And now there's talk of them having another meeting and just sort of putting the plans in place to regenerate Old Trafford. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Maybe we can have a roof that doesn't leak. But it's not just Old Trafford in it. There's talk of it being the surrounding area, infrastructure. There was all this talk on there getting the government to help out, which seems to ruffle a few feathers, I should say. I can understand that because you're looking at it going, why should the government help out? But the government will end up paying something towards it if the infrastructure around the stadium needs adjusting. Because I don't think United are going to pay for like extra tram stations or anything like that. I don't know, I might be wrong, but I think that would end up coming from the government. I think the stadium itself, though, will be paid for by Manchester United. We'll have to see what happens there, but you can see, speaking at the latest fans forums, United Chief Operating Officer Colette Roach provided an update and said, regarding the long-term project, the Old Trafford Regeneration Task Force met for a second time last week, including Duncan Drasdo from this body, Duncan Drasdo, get my words right, from Manchester United Supporters Trust. We'll see what happens with this one. Let me know in the chat and the comments. I mean, United need a new stadium. I think there's the sort of argument where it was a lot more people just wanted us to revamp Old Trafford. I think that's sort of more 50-50 now, where 50% are saying let's get a rebuild, 50% saying a revamp. It might even be a little bit more towards a rebuild. Just get a new stadium. But let me know what you think. Get involved in the chat and the comments. A lot of good memories at Old Trafford, but I think you can have a new stadium and keep those memories. Glenn F says, evening all. I hope you're not talking about Jadon Sancho not staying. He makes me sick. Kichel Matrai says, Drunken Drasdo. Yeah, no disrespect to Duncan there, got his name wrong. I know him as well. He's not drunk, by the way. Antel says, Jay, it's much needed. Let's be honest, Old Trafford is a shithole for the most part. Abandoned buildings and all sorts. Listen, I'd like to see the area get rejuvenated. I'd like to see it get revamped, and I'd like to see it done in a way that doesn't just gentrify it, that everyone gets moved out who haven't got loads of money. But, you know, some of those low-income families can hopefully feel the benefit of it as well. That's what I'd like to see. You may disagree, as you are more than welcome to. Should we talk about the tour squad? The tour squad has been revealed. The big one, I think we all know this, didn't we? That Lenny Yoro was going to be part of it, which you'd expect him to. You can see there, so there's the sort of top line. Lenny Yoro is among the 29-man group. Christian Eriksen, Tommy and Rasmus Højlund and Scott McTominay are all involved after returning from Carrington last week. He's got a lot of experienced players there. Andre Onana, Johnny Evans, Harry Maguire, Casemiro, Mason Mount, Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho. And then you've got also Ali Bayande. What's this say? Recent signing Joshua Zirkzee is not part of the squad as he continues to take his summer break. Ali Bayande, Diogo Dalot, Bruno Fernandes, Alejandro Garnacho, Kobe Mainoo, Lisandro Martinez, Facundo Pellistri and Luke Shaw are also on leave following their international exploits. Tyrell Malacia is absent from the squad as he continues his rehabilitation from injury under the guidance of medical staff at Carrington. There you can see the full squad. Bit of mix in it. The young and old, Harry Hamas, Sam Murray, then you've got Lenny Yoro, Wan Bissaka, Harry Maguire. So yeah, decent sort of mixture there. But I'm looking forward to seeing these in the flesh, as they say. Soon we'll be off to America. We're going to be over there in the tour, so make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. You don't want to miss out on any of the content. I'm going to be giving you, obviously, all the previews, reviews. There's going to be watch-alongs here in the studio, but we're going to be over there in the mix zone, chatting to players, chatting to journalists, all that good stuff, doing the podcast. We're going to be hitting LA on Thursday, I think we're there. So make sure you check that out. I just think I've got one final story. Have I? No progress on talks with Ligt and Branthwaite. This is from Simon Stone. So it says United are trying to bring in another central defender. They've obviously already got Lenny Yoro. And it says there, Jared Branthwaite United are also trying to bring in another central defender, although two bids for Everton's Jared Branthwaite have been rejected, and talks around Bayern Munich's Dutch international Matthijs de Ligt have failed to reach a positive conclusion. We'll see what happens with that one. We'll have to keep you updated. Hopefully there'll be a little bit of movement over the next few days, but at the minute it's all sort of gone stale. So yeah, just sort of waiting game, innit, really? See who blinks first. Are we going to cave in and give Everton or Bayern Munich the money they want, or are they going to say, do you know what, you can have them on the cheap? We'll have to wait and see. Thanks to everyone who's got involved in the chat and the comments. Make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe, and next time I see you, or next time I do a video, I'll probably be in LA, so I'm looking forward to that one. I've been Jay Motty. This has been the Paper Talk, a little bit later than usual. Thanks for watching.